So, Reddit impersonators. Once upon a time, I heard about these Reddit impersonators who pretended to be gay people and in Reddit stories just did shitty things. Like, in Reddit, some guy posts, I am gay, here's what I did stories, and he just basically just libels gay people. It's an old story, it's very disgusting, it's very stupid. Okay, so we know that people have done this on Reddit. They've made up stories to convince people that that some random gay person in some random country did a bad thing. This is a thing. This is an old issue. Now, new AI is being tested on Reddit to convince people of specific political beliefs. It does so in a very effective way, but by pretending it's a member of a certain group, and it describes personal stories, and it shifts opinions, because if you hear a personal story from someone, you're very likely to shift your opinion based on that person's personal tragic story. Now, if that software exists, which it does, can anything, anywhere, from this point on, be considered trustworthy? Can any information on YouTube, on Reddit, on everywhere be considered trustworthy? Because you can have chains of people regurgitating an idea, following it into a specific target demographic, changing the mind of the target demographic based on recollections of a lie. And there's infinite incentive to do this across the political aisle. Can you trust anyone from this point on about anything? People who think they're experts, people who are otherwise experts, can you at any point in history, in the future history, feel safe with the information provided by the internet? Or any information at all? Because now every book is changed, everything is changed, everything is affected. The majority of the planet gets its information from Wikipedia, an open platform with millions of articles crowdsourced and dubiously maintained. You no longer have people obsessed with making a single topic website, explaining specific things about the single topic. You have small summarized lists of information organized into various different pages that are just these articles that are very short. Sometimes they're a few pages long, but they're usually maybe a page and a half, and not even that. You cannot trust information anymore. It's done. It's over. Every book you've read as a kid, if you're 20, the vast majority of those books probably contain slight shifts in language, approved by the companies that printed them, with information on the back about it being altered. Sometimes there's an explanation that something's being altered. Sometimes you don't know. You don't know. There is no concrete way for you to get access to the original language of a given work if you don't have any experience in finding that original information. Matilda the book has been neutered down to not sound so much like an 80s book, so it sounds more modern. From this point on, not only will you have increments of change as language evolves about various different books changing with the times, giving you a warped perspective of the history of literature, but you will also have millions of people with incentives to use programs to alter everyone else's perception about a given topic. Nothing can be seen as real. Everything is propaganda. And you never actually know if your propaganda is based on fact or just utter propaganda. We have reached dystopia, the dystopia of the information world. It doesn't matter if it's that bad or if it's not that bad. You will never know how certain your information is anymore. You will never be allowed the privilege of a good enough guess, of the certainty in a good enough guess. You will never have that certainty ever again because it's dead, because technology killed it.